Wait, who are you talking to, Will or Chad?
Talking to Will.
Yeah.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the famous faces that are so uncannily alike that many of us are no strangers to getting them confused.
It's Amy Adams walking into the party.
Oh no!
So I'm like, there's Isla Fisher.
Number 30, young Mick Jagger and Harry Styles. For this one, we're going to take a little trip back to the 60s and 70s.
You can't always get what you want.
Wait, Harry Styles, is that you? Well, considering he was born in 1994, probably not. But you can see why someone might think otherwise. Musical talents and flair for vibrant fashion aside, these two also share an incredible likeness. Although Jagger's only half convinced, saying, quote, "He just has a superficial resemblance to my younger self, which is fine. He can't help that." Meanwhile, Styles is said to greatly admire the rocker, and even played him in an SNL sketch.
Yeah, Steve, lovely show. It's a bit of fun in it.
It was enough to convince us that he has the moves and looks like Jagger. Number 29, Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon. Wahlberg's the guy from The Bourne Identity, right? Oh no, that was Damon? So Damon's also the guy from Ted?
I guess I wasn't really prepared for a follow-up question.
Nope, that's Walberg. Their charming smiles, strong features, and Boston accents make the confusion understandable. If you spot one on the street, it might take a beat to figure out who you're about to ask for a selfie.
So Mark and I have a deal. If we're mistaken for one another, we have to be as polite as possible. Because
have you ever signed an autograph as Matt Wahlberg?
Oh yeah.
If you go up to Damon and tell him you love the song Good Vibrations, there's a good chance he'll just graciously thank you instead of correcting you. Meanwhile, if you tell Wahlberg how much you loved him in Good Will Hunting, he's probably not going to bother correcting you either.
I never correct anybody.
You don't
I
correct
just say thank you very much. Got another one coming. I actually watched me in The Bourne Identity 4 this summer.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Number 28, Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. 10 Things I Hate About You isn't the only link between these two actors. We may not have spotted it at the time, but if you tried to match their faces together, you'd probably end up with something resembling both and neither at the same time.
See, first of all, Joey is not half the man you are. Secondly, don't let anyone ever make you feel like you don't deserve what you want.
Both actors also starred in respective Batman movies, Ledger famously as the Joker in The Dark Knight, and Gordon-Levitt as John Blake, aka Robin in The Dark Knight Rises.
Try my legal name.
You should use your full name. I like that name. Robin.
Thanks.
Imagine if Gordon-Levitt ever fancied a trip to the dark side. All that Joker makeup could make anyone do a double take, and wonder if Ledger had somehow been resurrected through some AI sorcery.
Things like that, and so I think a lot of that friendship and chemistry that you see on screen, it comes off like that because it was pretty real.
Number 27, Sebastian Stan and Richard Madden. You probably recognize one as Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier from the MCU, and the other as Robb Stark from Game of Thrones.
Tell your son Brandon Rickon's safety is paramount. And Theon, I want him brought to me alive. I want to look him in the eye and ask him why.
Still, can you differentiate your Winter Soldier from your Winter is Coming?
Remember when I made you ride the Cyclone at Coney Island? Yeah, and I threw up? This isn't payback, is it? Now why would I do that?
Come on, even the best makeup artist in the world couldn't fully conceal how alike these two look. They share similar bone structures and facial features, including eyes that can pierce your very soul, and a gaze that could thaw ice. If the MCU ever wanted to give Bucky a long-lost twin, we've found him.
Who was he?
You met him earlier this week on another assignment.
I knew him.
Likewise, if a Stark ever fancied another shot at the Iron Throne, well, they know who fits the bill.
They can keep their Red Castle. And their Iron Chair, too. The King in the North.
Am I your brother? Now and always.
Now and always.
Number 26, Luke Evans and Orlando Bloom. Okay, so we know both actors starred in the Lord of the Rings franchise.
You know, you do feel like you're joining a really very special group of people and a bit of a family affair. You know, it's a very special thing. I I feel very honored and lucky to have worked with these guys.
But can you correctly match the actors to their roles? Did Evans wear that long blonde wig and run about with a quiver of arrows? Did Bloom ultimately take down the mighty Smaug? If you're nodding along, thinking you've got it, think again.
News of the death of Smaug will have spread through the lands. Aye.
Sure, Evans might have a slightly narrower face compared to Bloom, but their facial features are strikingly similar. From their chiseled chin contour to that intense stare, both could easily make most weak at the knees. Even when they share a scene in their respective costumes, telling them apart is only a smidge easier.
What is it you know? Nothing for certain.
Number 25, Kristen Stewart and Teresa Palmer. Mixing up these two couldn't be more confusing, especially considering they're both known for roles where they fall in love with creatures of the night.
I know what you are.
Say it.
Hey, maybe supernatural beings have a type. Naturally beautiful with delicate features, high cheekbones, almond-shaped eyes, well-defined lips, and slightly pointed chins. With only 4 years between them, we'd totally buy it if you told us they were sisters.
It's just a stupid name that we came up with for a state of being that we don't understand.
Even if we heard Palmer's Australian accent bouncing off of Stewart's more standardized American one, we'd still believe it.
Started a group called PIG, which stood for the Popular In Group, and we had tactics of how to make it into the popular group.
Their likeness is practically begging for a Prince and the Pauper-style Twilight and Warm Bodies crossover. Seriously, who do we call to make this happen? Number 24, Timothy Olyphant and Josh Duhamel. Getting those Christmas card photos taken can feel like pulling teeth sometimes, right? So imagine having a perfect stand-in who looks just like you.
He, God bless him, he did my family Christmas card. He posed with my family and we sent it out as my...
Well, Timothy Olyphant got that lucky break when he ran into his celebrity doppelganger, Josh Duhamel, at a charity baseball game. Duhamel posted with Olyphant's family for a photo that would become their holiday greeting card.
Well, come Christmas time, I get an envelope with a Christmas card in it with me and Timothy Olyphant's family saying, "Happy Holidays, the Olyphants." I mean, I thought that was pretty brilliant of him.
Sure, we see it. That strong jawline, similar eye shapes, and rugged yet charming looks. We definitely need to see them side by side and would probably even need a magnifying glass to tell them apart. Still, if you can't spot the difference, just remember Olyphant's own mother couldn't either.
And my brother says, "Mom, you know that's not Tim, right?" She's like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "That's not Tim in the card."
Number 23, Emily Osment and Carrie Underwood. You know Emily Osment from Spy Kids 2, Hannah Montana, and Young Sheldon.
Well, then that could bring rain to this whole area here. So for Channel 7 weather, I'm Mandy McAllister. Good night.
Meanwhile, you know Carrie Underwood from her long, illustrious music career that began on season 4 of American Idol. Now, we all know Osment has a famous sibling, but when you see her and Underwood side by side, it's hard not to wonder if the singer might be a long-lost Osment kid too.
Wow! You look more like me than I do!
While Underwood sports a more oval face shape with a defined jawline, and Osment's face is rounder with softer features, their resemblance is still rather striking. If either of them ever appeared on Finding Your Roots and discovered they were related, it wouldn't be much of a shock.
So much of me left out there, you must get deja vu.
Number 22, Dax Shepard and Zach Braff.
If an hour goes by on Twitter where someone doesn't mention it, I think Twitter's broken.
Actress Kristen Bell once took a photo of her husband Dax Shepard and put it through a face swap filter alongside Zach Braff. The results are so eerily uncanny that even Shepard admitted he's not sure which parts are his and which belong to the Scrubs actor.
It looks like the swap didn't even happen. Isn't that the same person in the left column? You guys know face swap. We've switched our faces, but I'll let you guess who went where, because I can't tell.
The longer we stare at it, the more it feels like we're entering the Twilight Zone. Honestly, it looks like one of them is being punked, but we're not sure who.
I got punked.
Braff also couldn't let the similarity slide when Bell shared her and Shepard's cover photo for People magazine. Braff hilariously commented on what a cute couple he and Bell make.
He's very handsome.
Yeah, he's sure. All right, fine.
And I'm only saying that because everybody says we look alike.
Well,
Number 21, Helen Hunt and Lily Sobieski. Ever wondered if time travel is more than just science fiction? Well, these two might have you thinking twice.
That's really good. The proportions are perfect. But are you drawing what you're really seeing? The simplest thing is the hardest. to see what's really right in front of you.
There are about 20 years between them, but the two look so incredibly alike that our only explanation is one of them is traveling back and forth through time and morphing to fit whichever role suits their age at any given time.
Mabel has to learn to go to sleep on her own without us there rocking her and holding her and stuff.
But already? Does she have to do it already?
Well, we can wait till she's a teenager, but it's going to be much tougher on our backs.
Sobieski's resemblance to the As Good As It Gets star has been noted throughout her career. Their facial features are nearly identical, and even their gestures are spookily alike.
Elise, that's an interesting name.
And it's not yours. My mom was going through her Harlequin romance phase.
It's baffling they haven't played mother and daughter yet. The only logical conclusion is that they're one and the same person.
That's maybe the best compliment of my life.
Number 20, McKenna Grace and Kieran and Shipka. In recent years, when casting agents have been looking to find a younger version of their stars, it feels like McKenna Grace has often been their go-to gal. However, none made us do a double take quite like when Grace stepped into the role of a young Sabrina Spellman on Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
What would you two like from Santa this year?
A truck, like my dad.
And how about you? What do you wish for?
I wish I could see my mommy.
The resemblance is unbelievable and even caught Shipka's attention. Reportedly, she had a hand in Grace's casting after seeing a photo of her and noting she was a dead ringer for her.
And how she reacted. How long did it take her to get used to the idea?
When you see them together, it's almost like someone hit the copy and paste button. Or perhaps Sabrina mastered a cloning spell.
Do let me know how it goes.
I will. And thanks for the book, Miss Wardwell. You're the best.
Number 19, Susan Sarandon and Leslie Ann Warren. Sarandon has joked that there's a good reason you never see her and Sigourney Weaver together.
I want to just clarify a few things while I'm up here. As Sigourney has left, but seriously, we are not the same person.
But let's face it, it's hard not to notice her incredible resemblance to stage and screen actress Leslie Ann Warren. With those expressive eyes, similar bone structure, and big smiles, it's easy to mix them up. We've even swapped their roles in our memories. If you asked us who played Janet in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, we'd probably answer Warren. Or if you asked who played Miss Scarlet in Clue, we'd wrongly answer Sarandon. Really, the only way you could convince us we're not seeing double is if you had them star together as sisters in a movie. Even then, we still wouldn't be too sure.
True or false?
True. How are you? Perry Mason.
Number 18, Chase Crawford and Ian Sommerhalder.
Yeah, Blair's gonna freak out. I mean, this is a total lie.
One's known from Gossip Girl, while the other's best recognized from The Vampire Diaries. But how can we really be sure that we're not seeing the same person twice? Think about it. All you need to do is get them to the same hairstylist, and then it's practically like looking in a mirror. Well, at least for them. Their deep arching eyebrows, piercing eyes, and full lips are enough to get anyone confused. You'd even need to look closely at their jaw length to notice any discernible differences. Something tells us that if you tried to morph their faces together, you wouldn't spot any changes. Could Damon have been Nate in a former life?
Let me show you.
Number 17, Jeff Bridges and Kurt Russell. It's time for a pop quiz. Who stars in The Big Lebowski? If you said Jeff Bridges, congratulations, that's correct.
Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
If you said Kurt Russell, don't worry, you're not alone. We're sure Russell's a total dude, but he's not the dude. For years, audiences have been getting these two mixed up, and it's only getting harder to tell them apart with age. Theirs, not ours. Their silvering facial hair doesn't exactly make it any easier. If it helps at all, you've likely watched Bridges in movies like True Grit, Iron Man, and Tron. Meanwhile, Russell's credits include Silkwood, The Hateful Eight, and The Christmas Chronicles. Even Russell's son Wyatt is aware that he kinda looks like Bridges.
I was born with eyes that went like that, and I look like Jeff Bridges more than I've joked about looking like my dad.
Number 16, Brittany Murphy and Lily Reinhardt. If you're prone to falling down the online rabbit hole, you might have stumbled across the conspiracy theory suggesting that the Riverdale actress is actually Brittany Murphy reincarnated.
They're playing our song. The one that Ellen and I danced to. Rolling, with. Holy.
Now, since Murphy tragically passed away in 2009 while Reinhardt was born in 1996, this is impossible. However, just one look at the actresses side by side and all logic flies out the window. Their resemblance is so uncanny that we totally buy it. And Reinhardt's Met Gala debut in 2018 further fueled the comparisons. Fans couldn't stop talking about it, and we don't blame them.
And I think it feels unreal for my family as well, just because I'm their kid, you know, for my parents. I'm just their daughter, trying to be an actor, and here I am.
All we're saying is if any of Murphy's movies get remade or someone creates a biopic about her life, they know who to call. Number 15. Harry Connick Jr. and the Property Brothers, aka Drew and Jonathan Scott. You know Drew and Jonathan as those twins who help people find and build their dream homes.
I'm glad you love it.
Thank you.
Congrats again.
For everything.
Thank you guys. Congrats, Olivia. See you guys. See you home.
But what if there was another long-lost brother who made it in showbiz as an actor, singer, and TV host instead? Yeah, we're talking about Harry Connick Jr. If you told us they were triplets and Harry was separated at birth, we'd believe it. Even the Property Brothers had to note their bizarre resemblance when they stopped by Connick Jr.'s show in 2016.
So, I'm not sure if you guys know, I don't talk about them a lot, but I actually have two brothers, and they're here, and I don't want to get too emotional about it. Guys?
Looking at the photo the trio took together, you could be fooled into believing it's the same individual photoshopped in 3 times over. Number 14. Tandy Newton and Zoe Saldana. If Zoe Saldana's mother can't tell them apart, what hope do we have? Speaking to James Corden on The Late Late Show, the Guardians of the Galaxy actress shared that her mom still believes she's in Westworld, which, in case you didn't know, stars Tandy Newton.
Mom, you did not give birth to Tandy Newton. And then again, she was like, well, your show is on HBO. I'm like, which one? She goes, Westworld.
She also shared that Newton had no idea who she was when they first met, but that they've since struck up a twinning friendship.
And I kind of scared her because I didn't tell her why I was like, invading her space. I was just like, oh my God. Please tell me that people confuse you with me. And she's like, who are you?
Meanwhile, the beloved actress told Graham Norton about a mortifying encounter where Victoria Beckham mistook her for Saldana at a Soul Cycle.
Vic, do you think that I'm Zoe Saldana? And she was absolutely mortified.
Newton's from London, while Saldana's from New Jersey, so at the very least, you can use their accents to tell them apart. Number 13. Daniel Radcliffe and Elijah Wood. One ring to rule the Philosopher's Stone? Wait, that's not right. But with 2 fantasy franchises almost simultaneously taking over the box office, audiences often got Harry Potter and Frodo Baggins confused with one another.
Daniel, do you still get mistaken for Elijah Wood?
Not as often, but still quite a lot.
Because you don't look alike anymore, I don't think.
I don't know.
I take it back. You look exactly like that.
Someone even made a gif of the 2 faces morphing together, and it honestly just looks like the same person with marginally different facial expressions.
This thing is everywhere, but just take a look at this. It's eerie. The transformation is so subtle that it's creepy almost. It looks like... That is so bizarre.
Like, seriously, which one's Radcliffe and which one's Wood? We have no idea. Radcliffe also shared a hilarious anecdote about how he once signed a photo of Wood while meeting fans in Japan. Here's hoping they play family members in some future film. Number 12. Henry Cavill and Matt Bomer. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Matt Bomer? Well, no, but it very well could be. Sure, there's no shortage of handsome and stylish dark-haired men with blue eyes you can melt in Hollywood, but the resemblance between this specific duo is extraordinary. Bomer might be a few years older, but they could easily pass as brothers.
Bang, bang, boom!
We're more astonished by their likeness than we are by the fact that nobody realizes Clark Kent is Superman when he removes his glasses. We literally have to take a closer look to see who we're actually watching in films like Flight Plan, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and Magic Mike. We're just grateful to have these swoon-worthy doppelgangers on our screens.
What's your cover?
Jack Devon, Antiquities Teacher, specializing in Greek and Roman sculpture.
Number 11. Minka Kelly and Leighton Meester.
Need any extra pins? I don't want any bows flying on them.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hi.
A little late, aren't you?
Yeah, sorry.
Name?
Lila Gary.
One played a spoiled cheerleader on Friday Night Lights, while the other played an iconic mean girl on Gossip Girl.
Hello? Do you need a refresher? I say, you do.
But can you tell who's who? These real-life friends often get confused for each other, and you only have to look at their pictures side by side to see why. Their long brown locks, chocolatey eyes, charming smiles, and general beauty are practically interchangeable. So their casting in the psychological thriller The Roommate, where they play college roomies who look very similar to one another, was clearly spot on. Needless to say, remembering who was playing Sarah and who was playing Rebecca required a little extra focus. Number 10. Tom Hardy and Logan Marshall Green. Marshall Green already has a fraternal twin brother, but he also seems to have a doppelganger. Famous for his work in The OC, Prometheus, and more, the American actor has often been compared to Hardy, aka his British clone.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
Indeed, if you didn't hear either of them speak, you might have trouble telling them apart. After all, they're both good-looking men who almost seem to have coordinated their hairstyles and beards.
These are ancient civilizations. They were separated by centuries. They shared no contact with one another.
Even clean-shaven, it would be tough to tell them apart. Fortunately, Marshall Green's reportedly not fazed by the common misidentification, and confessed that thanks to being a twin, he's no stranger to being mistaken for somebody else. Number 9. Javier Bardem and Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
The celebrity I most get mistaken, Javier Bardem.
These two are always mesmerizing us on screen, bringing their characters to life in incredibly intriguing ways. And they have us wondering if shared genetics might be to thank for their talents. With their stylish hair, hypnotic broody eyes, strong jawlines, and overall rugged appearances, they look eerily alike.
It's been traveling 22 years to get here, and now it's here. And it's either heads or tails. And you have to say, call it.
So we seriously wouldn't be surprised if there was some Parent Trap level estrangement at play here. We don't think either of these men could possibly mind being mistaken for the other too much. Who could be offended by such a flattering comparison? They're probably both descendants of some perfect-looking specimen. If you're debating which of these Hollywood heartthrobs is more to your taste, let's be honest, it's a draw.
You're Rick, right? I'm Negan. And I do not appreciate you killing my men.
Number 8. Nina Dobrev and Victoria Justice. If you need proof that doppelgangers exist, look no further. Is it Dobrev? Is it Justice? We just can't tell. Imagine tuning into the Vampire Diaries and thinking, hey, Lola Martinez from Zoe 101 got a new gig. Only to realize you're very, very wrong.
I never thought I'd be saying this, but I can't stop thinking about blood.
It's definitely easy to see why many people believe they must be family. And no, there's zero proof to suggest they are, but it's wild how plausible it seems, right? After all, you can barely tell that Dobrev is 4 whole years older than Justice. The latter star even referenced the fact that they were lookalikes while presenting the former with her Teen Choice Award in 2015.
And your choice TV actress sci-fi fantasy is... All right. My doppelganger, Nina Dobrev!
Number 7. Natalie Portman and Keira Knightley.
Do you ever get mistaken for other actors?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah.
And who do people mistake you for?
Well, I've been chased through an airport as Natalie Portman. I mean, Natalie Portman a lot.
Is there any more convincing argument that two people look alike than one being hired to play the other's decoy? Indeed, that's exactly when many Star Wars fans discovered that these two actresses were practically carbon copies of each other.
I'm Queen Amidala of the Naboo. I come before you in peace.
They already look identical in casual wear, so seeing them both in the full Queen Padme getup added an even freakier level to this story. Although Portman's ancestry can be traced to countries like Austria and Poland, she arguably has a classic English rose look, and Knightley's practically the poster child for English roses. If Elizabeth Swann ever needs someone to take her place while she flies under the radar, we'd like to throw Portman's name into the mix.
The entire Royal Navy is out looking for me. Do you really think that there is even the slightest chance that they won't see it?
But why is the rum gone?
Number 6. Zooey Deschanel and Katy Perry.
No. Sorry. Misunderstanding.
I'm Zoe. With their similarly shaped faces, dark hair, and big blue eyes, it's hardly surprising that these two often get mistaken for one another.
Change your mind like a girl changes clothes.
Perry, in her luscious long locks and bangs era in particular, looks like she could be Deschanel's clone. But according to the latter star, that's where their similarities end. She said people who spotted Perry out partying often incorrectly assumed they'd just seen her, though she's more of a homebody. Still, who could blame them? If you ask us, this sounds like an excellent premise for a sitcom about twins who are polar opposites, starring Perry and Deschanel. Things could even get musical. We would totally watch that.
Don't you wanna fall in love tonight?
Number 5. Mila Kunis and Sarah Hyland.
Even after all that time that you still get mistaken for Mila Kunis? Is that real?
I do. It still happens. I mean, I met her maybe 10 years ago. I was very excited to meet her. I was such a massive fan, and everyone always told me that I looked like her.
Delicate features, high cheekbones, and stunningly good looks are just some reasons we believe these actresses were separated at birth. You know, if you ignore the fact that one was born in what's now called Ukraine in 1983, while the other was born in New York in 1990. And as this tweet shows, they're fully aware of their mirror image likeness. The duo has poked fun at it, with Kunis playing into others' confusion to knock a few years off her age.
And she was like, and sometimes I pretend to be you, so I feel like I'm young.
She also hilariously gave Hyland permission to pretend to be her. Is it too late to cast Hyland as Jackie's teenage daughter in the That 70s Show reboot? We've seen weirder age gaps in Hollywood.
You want to have my children?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you get rich and don't lose your hair, because I love you.
Number 4. Will Ferrell and Chad Smith. A comedian and a rock star might seem as different as night and day. However, looking at these two, it's more like night and later that same night. In fact, the SNL alum and Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer have developed quite the bond based on their physical similarities. They notably graced the Tonight Show set in real twinning fashion and competed in an epic drum-off.
Take notes, Chadwick.
Clearly, the duo aren't afraid to lean into the hilarity of it all. So it seems like they're both pretty okay with the comparisons. Hey, if the Step Brothers stars got another sibling-themed movie in them, Chad Smith needs to co-star.
I know you touched my drum set, and I want to hear that dirty little mouth admit it.
You get out of my face, or I'm gonna roundhouse your ass.
Number 3. Jessica Chastain and Bryce Dallas Howard. Bryce Dallas Howard has brought many people to life on our screens. She's been Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3, Victoria in Twilight's Eclipse, and Claire Dearing in the Jurassic World flicks. But there's one person she isn't, and that's Jessica Chastain.
Someone congratulated you on Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Which is great, but you were not in Jurassic World. That is Bryce. That's Bryce Dallas Howard.
That's Bryce, yeah. You know, the biggest movie of the year. Fabulous, but yeah, not me.
Chastain's the one from The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Zero Dark 30, and Molly's Game. But don't worry, we totally get it. If you place them side by side and take a few steps back, it would be impossible to tell them apart.
Only when I'm looking presentable and I have makeup on. When I look like myself, nobody thinks I look like Jessica Chastain.
The fact that they both appeared in The Help didn't, well, help matters either. And we love it when they address the comparisons. There are certainly worse people to be mistaken for than an equally accomplished actress. Number 2. Amy Adams and Isla Fisher. Don't worry, you don't need to get your eyes checked. But countless people, including Lady Gaga, often struggle to figure out who's who when it comes to this red-headed duo with similarly attractive features.
The crowds parted and there was Lady Gaga, and she's heading right towards me. And she says, "Thank you. Your performance in American Hustle, Amy, was..." And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's Lady Gaga. I love her so much. I don't want to tell her the truth.
Also, Fisher once pasted Adams' face on her holiday cards. And none of the recipients even clocked it.
Season's greetings from Sasha Ryler, and no one noticed. Everyone's like, oh, your card was so cute. I'm like, it was a joke, it's not me, it's Amy.
If you need a refresher, Adams is the one from American Hustle, Enchanted, and Sharp Objects. Fisher, on the other hand, is in Wedding Crashers, Now You See Me, and The Great Gatsby.
Myrtle, turtle. Mwah, mwah.
Just maybe don't watch Nocturnal Animals if you want to avoid the confusion that comes with seeing them in the same movie. No wonder we have to do a double take. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Margot Robbie and Jamie Presley. No, you're not seeing double, but there's no denying these actresses look like carbon copies of each other, even with their 13-year age gap.
You want to be my friend?
We're not gonna be friends.
Could Presley be Robbie's long-lost older sister, cousin, or even very young aunt?
You know, the life of a carnival worker keeps me free and untethered.
I know. That's why I was immediately attracted to you. I could tell you were an outlaw.
Sure, they grew up thousands of miles apart, but we'd like to believe our theory still stands. Just look at their golden locks and dazzling blue eyes. They look so alike that we wouldn't be surprised if they shared ancestors. Quick, someone get them on Who Do You Think You Are? We challenge you to line up their photos and correctly identify each actress. It's not as easy as it sounds. Which celeb doppelgangers make you think you're seeing double? Let us know in the comments.
You looking at it can't tell which one's you.
I don't know who's who.
And which one is Zack.
I don't think my wife does either.
Yeah.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.